Hey, welcome! So today, we're going to break down one of the most powerful ideas for getting literally anything done, no matter how big or scary it seems. Whether it's a huge school project, learning a new skill, or any big dream you have, yeah, this is for you.
It all boils down to this really powerful idea from a philosopher named Lao Tzu, who lived thousands of years ago. And what he said is basically the secret key to everything we're going to talk about. And trust me, it's a lot simpler than you think.
You know this feeling, right? Your teacher assigns some massive project, or you have to write a super long paper, and your brain just stops. It's like you're totally frozen and have absolutely no clue where to even start.
Okay, so let's get into it. Why starting so hard? Because that feeling of being completely stuck is super common. And hey, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. Our brains are actually kind of wired to protect us from new, uncertain things. So feeling nervous about starting, totally normal.
It pretty much always comes down to one of these three things. We're worried we're going to mess up, so we don't even try. Or we get completely lost thinking about every single tiny detail instead of just doing something. Or, and this is a classic, we tell ourselves we'll start later, when we feel ready, which, spoiler alert, is pretty much never.
I mean, just picture a student who spent days stressing about a huge history paper. They worried about the topic, the research, all of it. But once they finally just forced themselves to write that first sentence, even if it was a bad one, suddenly the rest started to flow. That first little move just broke the spell.
So here's the bottom line. The fear of getting started is usually way bigger and scarier than the actual work itself. Once you're moving, it's a completely different ballgame.
So how do we beat that stuck feeling? How do we get over that huge hurdle of just starting? Well, believe it or not, the secret is surprisingly simple. It has everything to do with thinking small. It's all about building something called momentum. Yeah, it sounds a little sciencey, but trust me, the idea is super easy. That first tiny action, it makes the second action just a little bit easier. And that second one makes the third even easier. You're basically creating energy that carries you forward.
Okay, let me give you a perfect example of how this works. Imagine you want to save up for something really cool, like a new video game or a concert ticket, but it costs a lot and feels absolutely impossible.
You don't start by trying to save like $100 all at once. Nope, the journey starts small with just $5. But then you stick with it for a month, and that tiny little step is already $20. See? Now you're seeing some real progress. Okay, so what about after a whole year? That tiny, consistent move of saving just $5 a week has built up to $260. And you got there without any giant, scary leaps. Just one small step after another. And that right there, that just nails the whole point. It's not about doing everything at once. It's about the magic of being consistent. Small, easy actions, repeated over and over again, lead to massive results.
But what about the flip side? What happens when we don't take that first step? Well, it turns out waiting for that perfect moment to arrive, it actually has a cost.
This really shows the choice we all have. You can start today, even if it's messy and you make a few mistakes, and you'll be learning and building that momentum. Or you can wait, and waiting doesn't just pause time. It actually works against you. You lose time you'll never get back, and that big goal just starts to feel even bigger and more impossible.
And this is so true, right? Think about someone who really wanted to learn guitar. They keep putting it off, saying, oh, I'm too busy with school or whatever. A year goes by, then two, and then one day they hear their favorite song and realize, man, if I just started with 10 minutes a day back then, I'd actually be able to play that right now. That feeling of regret, that's the real cost of waiting.
Which, brings us to this really powerful idea. It is so easy to get caught up wishing you'd started sooner, but that doesn't help. You can't go back in time. The only time you can control is right now. So the next best time to start anything is always today.
So, after all that, what does this actually mean for you? It all comes down to one simple thing, right here, right now. It's about figuring out that one small move you can make.
Seriously, think about it. Every single big goal you can imagine breaks down this way. You don't magically appear on stage in the school play. It all begins with the simple act of writing your name on the sign-up sheet. You don't just ace a test. It starts by opening your book and reading that very first sentence. It all begins with one single move.
So here's a super simple plan you can use, like right now. First, pick your big goal. What's your 1,000-mile journey? Second, what is the absolute smallest, easiest, tiniest action you can possibly take toward it?
Not a big thing, a tiny one. And third, and this is the most important part, go do that one thing. Today.
So I'm going to leave you with this one last thought. Your amazing journey is just sitting there, waiting for you. And it all starts the moment you decide to take that first step. So what's yours going to be?